Hi guys, Chris here with Super Savvy Travelers. Hey, before I do anything, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. We got a lot of good stuff coming up and we're heading to Italy in a few weeks, so you don't want to miss that. In addition, please go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Chris Sobolev because there's stuff I put there that I don't necessarily put here and you're not going to want to miss it. Especially we have some things in the cooker that we're working on. I think you're going to really love that stuff. Anyway, I wanted to dispel a myth today, a big myth. It's a myth about Tuscany. And the myth is that, oh, just because, Under the Tuscan Sun came out in the 90s, everything in Tuscany just went out of sight as far as property prices. Nobody can touch it. Nobody can afford it. Not so. There's a whole lot of things that you can afford if you stay away from the big places that have already boomed, like Cortona. Under the Tuscan Sun was filmed in Cortona. Cortona is 25 minutes away from us. I haven't been there yet because there's so many beautiful hill towns close to where we are. We will probably go when we arrive and go see what the big hubbub is about. But the prices in Cortona are eye-watering. They're like eye-watering, where you can buy the same type of house somewhere else in a beautiful hill town that's not overrun with tourists for a whole lot less money. Now, we showed you some of the things in the historic centers recently. And I'd like to show you this independent house. This is a more residential house in a residential area. And it's a beautiful house. It's very well priced. The price is 175,000 euros. But the house overall is over 260 square meters. But many times they include things like the garage and the ripostiglio that we don't necessarily include when we list houses here in California. So we figured it out by subtracting out the size of the garage and the ripostiglio, which is the storage area. We figured it's probably about 165 square meters of living space, which is still pretty darn big. It's a lot of space, especially if this is a vacation home, but it could so easily be a home to live in. Very, very comfy. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you about this house is that it is very accessible for somebody with mobility issues. And as somebody with mobility issues, I really appreciate that. There's only a couple steps to get into the house, which is very, very nice. Plus the garage is right there. Boom, garage, boom, into the house. Groceries, boom, boom. It's really super accessible. Now, here's the entry hall, and let me tell you something about entry halls in these houses in Tuscany. They're big, they're wide, they're grand. And this one is beautiful and clean looking and I just like it because it's grand without being over the top sumptuous. Now, I myself like over the top sumptuous, so I would probably pretty it up a little bit, maybe some bling. You don't have to do that. It's perfectly beautiful the way it is. Here is the pranzo area. Pranzo meaning dining room. And what I like about this is it's huge. They've got a china cabinet, cristalliera, up there where you put all your plates and glasses and things like that. So they're right accessible and it gives you a lot more room. You're taking stuff out of the kitchen, putting it in the cristalliera so you can have your pots and pans and cooking things in the kitchen while you have all your plates and everything stored out here, and still tons and tons of room. What I like about this house, a lot of windows, tons of natural light. Now here's another view of the pranzo area. They also have another big piece of furniture there and a seating area. So it's huge, massive, massive. Now here's the kitchen. And as we've discussed, kitchens are considered furniture in Italy. Kitchens go with the cellar. They don't stay in the house. Now, sometimes you can ask them to leave the kitchen, and they might, if it's not a great kitchen. This one's, I'll be honest, not a great kitchen. I would make sure that they get rid of this kitchen and make sure you put that in the compromesso that everything's going to be cleared out of the house before you sign the act, and ask for a walkthrough the day before you do, or some days before you do the act, because you want to make sure that stuff's gone. It costs to dump stuff, and it's another headache that you don't need. Now, a couple things about this kitchen. It's a galley style kitchen. I would replace the backsplash tiles if you're going to put in a new kitchen. Why not? It's not that expensive. And I would probably redo the floors. But I do want to point out that this house is on city gas, okay? So you don't have to have propane tanks, which are actually illegal in Tuscany anyway. And you don't have to have electric, which is really, really nice. This stove here, if they're going to leave it, I would take a very close look at it because that looks like the stove that we bought for 800 euros. Now, those stoves in America, they're Italian stoves. They cost about 4,500 bucks in America. If it's the same stove, take a close look and see what it is. And if they want to leave it and it's in good shape and it's one of those stoves, I would say yes, definitely keep it because it's very nice to cook on. Now here is your soggiorno, or somebody said solotto. I don't know the difference. I'm gonna have to look that up. Honestly, I don't know the difference between a soggiorno and a solotto. This person very kindly went through the differences, but I still have a little confusion on that, so I'm gonna have to clear that up. Beautiful tiles, beautiful French doors out onto a balcony or outdoor area, which is lovely, lovely. A lot of light. I love that about this house. And here's the hallway, and you can see the tiles look recently done. They're very nice tiles. I would leave those. The place is in great shape. The paint job is in great shape. I don't see any sort of signs of moisture intrusion or anything else. I would definitely have Lorella take a look at it before buying just to make sure, but it looks very nice. Here's the bedroom, the master bedroom. Big double doors out onto an outdoor space and tons of space. Now, these tiles are a little bit old. If you like them, they can stay. For me, not so much. Now here's another view of the bedroom. A giant armadio there, big armoire, wardrobe, okay, that tells you that this is huge because even with this massive armadio, you still have a ton of space. Now, it would be not very expensive to put in like a big closet there if you want, because these armadios, not my favorite. They take a lot of space. They're very imposing. They're almost like leaning over you when you're trying to sleep at night. I don't like that. Here's another bedroom. This one is very big as well. I love these houses for the massive bedrooms. Your guests can be very comfortable. And the last bedroom, 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. And there we are, there's the 1 bathroom. Now, I would put in another bathroom. I would put one downstairs, either in the pranzo or the soggiorno. One of those spaces there. It can be a service bathroom with just a, a pretty toilet, pretty sink. Nice little area there for people to use. That way you keep all your guests away from the zona norte. And it's very convenient for you if you're down there cooking or visiting or whatever. You don't have to go all the way up to the upstairs to use the bathroom. Now, this bathroom, let's take a look. As we know, we're not tubby people. Not tubby people at all. That tub would go away. It would go away and turn into a shower in an ideal world. I love that that window is right there because in your shower there, that's going to take all of the humidity outside. The toilet is like miles away from the wall. I would get a new toilet, put it flush up against the wall. The bidet is probably also miles from the wall. Get a bidet, put it flush up against the wall. And my new saying, encroach on the bidet. I love that saying, and I'm going to get t-shirts made out. Encroach on the bidet. And, just the regular stuff that you would normally do in a bathroom. Replace the pedestal sink with a sink that offers you storage, the more modern units. If you like the mirror, you can keep it. I like the new mirrors that are flat. They're very clean looking. They've got a nice little light above it. Super clean, super lovely. Those are the kinds of things we put in our B&Bs, by the way. We put in super clean lines, super neutral colors, and that way you can put in pops of color wherever you want and still keep that really clean look. So this bathroom is actually pretty nice. It wouldn't be very much to redo some of the things. I would have to take a closer look in person to see if I would keep the floor tiles and the tiles on the walls, but once again, I don't see any evidence of moisture intrusion. Now, of course, Lorella could take a look. She knows where to look to see if there's anything like that. We also have the drone. We can drone roofs with the architect there so that they can look at the roof and see if there's any issues up there in real time. So that's another service that we offer is roof droning. Here's the garage. It's big, tons of space for your car and your patio furniture and whatever else you want. And you have a giant ripostiglio here, guys. I don't know why you need a giant garage and ripostiglio, but it's nice to have. And here's the outside space. There's a little paved courtyard, and you drive your car up into the garage. And here's a picture of the garage. You have a lot of paved areas around there, and there's a little courtyard in the back here, which is very cute. Looks like they're trying to grow something. You could put some grass there for your dog or pave it over, whatever. It's small, but it's just big enough to give you something if you have a pet. It can be important for a pet to have a little space outside. And here's the last photo. You can see this is sort of on a postage stamp lot, which is kind of great, especially if it's a vacation home. If it's a vacation home, this could be ideal because you don't have massive amounts of land to maintain and harvest and all of that stuff. It's a nice, compact little house. It's in beautiful shape. Honestly, I'm picky about finishes and stuff like that, so I always pick things apart. You don't have to do that. If you like what you see, you can move right in and just live in it the way it is. So there you go, guys. Let us know in the comments what you think of this type of house. Do you like these houses? Do you like historic center houses? Do you like houses in a more urban setting? Let us know what you like. And if I get enough comments going, ooh, I like this house, I'm going to ask Mirko when we arrive in Tuscany, can we please go through and film it? So let me know if you want that too. See you soon, guys.